Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. Okay, that made me a little bit dizzy. But I did that to prove a point, to talk to you guys about this spinning economy we're in right now. My room is spinning, my head is spinning, my chair is spinning, and the prices of comic books are spinning down. Just like that. That's right. In this video, we got to talk about how the recession is coming, the recession is here, and how a lot of comic books in the market, specifically that of those at auction right now, are really getting beat up. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of those prices, see what's going on in the market, and then at the end of the video, talk about what I think we can actually do and how it's really important to think about this one particular aspect, and that is you only lose if you sell. But before I get into the video, if you guys could drop me a like or comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, helps support the channel, and I would appreciate it. All right, let's get into this video here today. And of course, we got to talk about this current auction going on right here. ComicConnect is one of the big auction houses that are out there in the market, like Heritage or Comic Link. And there is this ComicConnect auction going on, and I've been watching a lot of books out there in this particular auction. And I got to tell you, a lot of these things are getting beat up. Some of these big books are getting beat up. We had a lot of AF-15s up for sale in this particular auction, and people got some good prices. Now, let me be clear, not every single book is going down. Not every single book is underperforming, but generally speaking, I mean, I got to tell you, it's like Black Friday sales out there. It's like Memorial Day sales out there. You know, everything is 25 to 30% off in the market. I mean, that's how good some of these prices are. And buyers are really winning. And Swaggle wallet is losing because I feel like I want to buy every single book on this exchange. But I just wanted to highlight a couple of the books I thought were really interesting to talk about. Specifically that, you know, of one of the AF-15s here, and also an All-Star Comics that went for sale. Like I mentioned, there were a lot of AF-15s, first appearance in the Spider-Man, that went up for sale at this auction. And that's one of the problems, actually, is that, you know, if you're out there and you're a seller and you got one of your big key books and you put it at auction and there are like 10 other copies out there, I mean, you're likely going to get beat up, especially in this market right now, where there is, you know, a lot of inventory that's, you know, seeing its way. A lot of people are trying to liquidate. But there was a particular book right here. The 8.0 was the highest grade that went up for sale in this auction, and it actually closed at $448,000. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Swaggle, that's a huge price. People are going to the moon with that type of value. And yes, that might be true, unless, of course, you are the person who recently bought this book at the 8.0 grade and paid $520,000 just a couple months ago. So you went from $520,000 to $448,000 in just a couple months' time. And if you're someone who bought that book, you might be feeling pretty bad today. Pretty bad about your purchase. Not quite as bad as the person who bought the book in August of 2021 for $560,000. But overall, you're thinking to yourself right now that your book is 25 to 30% less valuable than it was at the time in which you bought it. Pretty crazy to me, but do not fret. There is some copium that I will talk about at the end of the video in terms of the principle of this idea, which is, of course, you know, unless you're the actual person who bought the book for $520,000 on ComicConnect, and then you decided that you were going to flip your exact same book on ComicConnect a couple months later and only got $448, you're still going to be doing okay overall. One of the other books that went up for sale is, of course, All-Star Comics #8. This is the first appearance of Wonder Woman. And this one was really surprising to me because, you know, we're thinking to ourselves, okay, AF-15s, there's, you know, I mean, not a lot out there in the market, but, you know, it's a more common book in terms of grails. Everybody wants an AF-15. Everybody is constantly selling and looking for them. But this book right here, first appearance of Wonder Woman, I mean, this is not a book that you see every day, right? This is a very hard one to come by. We're talking about a Golden Age book here. We're talking about a book that typically you're only going to find at some of these premier auction houses. And in this particular auction, there was only one for sale. You know, so you might be thinking, okay, well, some of the values of the A15s didn't hit because of the fact that there were a lot of them up there and there was a lot of competition. But this one right here, you know, All-Star Comics #8, there was only one for sale. 4.5 went for $42,621, which again, A lot of money, unless of course you're going down here to the 4.5 and you're looking at the last sale and you see that the last sale was $56,879 for the same exact grade on the same exact book, which is pretty brutal. I mean, if you go from 56,000 to 42,000, granted, there was a sale earlier for 43,000, but this definitely hurts if you're someone who bought the book in 2017 for 49,000, or you bought it in 2016 for 54,000. I mean, can you imagine you bought this book in 2016 for 54,000? You've been sitting on it for essentially 6 years, even through this comic book boom cycle, and your book has essentially gone down in value. Effectively down in value. But again, we're gonna get to that in a second. But it's not just the big boy books that are, hurting right there. There's also, some of these great Bronze Age keys. There's a lot of Hulk 181s on sale for this ComicConnect auction, and basically every single one got beat up. I mean, look at this one right here. 8.5 grade, $7,200 was the sale price, signed by John Romita, which is a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's hard to always price the signature books, but even if we just look at the 8.5 grade of this thing, fair market value is $8,000, 30-day moving is $8,350. And what did I say it sold for? Well, $7,201. So again, 25% discount for this book. And then across all the various grades here, 8.0 sold for $6,400. We go down here to the 8.0, 30-day moving is $7,600. So you got $1,000 off on that one. 7.5 sold for $5,200. Go down here, 7.5, 30-day moving is $6,000. So again, another discounted book. And then this one to me is really crazy because, we talk about some of those high-end books as far as like who are the buyers, who are the potential people to be buying those things. Maybe it's just one of those situations where there's just not enough buyers currently in the market that are able to make those type of purchases. But you're looking at a 3.0 grade right here. And, a lot of people can afford, say, a $2,400 bid on a book like that. There's definitely, it's more competitive at the low grade. But if we look at, the fair market value for the 3.0, I mean, it's $3,500, 30-day moving is $3,800. So somebody got a $1,400 discount on this particular Hulk 181 out there in the market. I definitely wish that I was watching this auction that ended yesterday at that time, because I definitely would have happily bid, $2,600, $2,700 for this book right here. Some of the other books that got beat up, I'll just quickly show you. Fantastic 452, there were a ton of copies that went up for sale with this book right here, and all of the copies got beat up. I mean, this is definitely a book that has been hurt in terms of like the uncertainty with what's going on with T'Challa Black Panther. But on top of that, there was just a lot up for sale. And when I look at this price, this specifically, really hurts for me, because a 4.0 sold for $650. I got my 2.5 raw for effectively that value, $650. And that really, is the part that I want to kind of transition to this part of the conversation. And the next part that we have to sort of talk about, and this idea of like, are our comics going down in value in this recession? Or can comics actually go down in value? Because here's the simple truth. And I know that this is a little bit of a play on words, and I know that, I'm just kind of rambling here, but here's the reality. Your book is only as valuable as whatever you sell it for. That's the honest truth, right? So is my book back there behind me going down in value? Well, not necessarily, because the reality is it's only going to be the value that I end up selling it for. And if I have the ability to wait and sit and hold the book and just not sell it or demand a certain price, like let's say I'm not going to sell this book unless I get it for $800. Well, then to me, the value of the book is going to be $800. And maybe I won't be able to sell it for, 5 years or so. But that is the reality, is that, books don't ever really go up in value or really go down in value. We're all talking about unrealized gains here, or unrealized, losses. I mean, that's the other thing too. The other side of the equation is we got to think about like, sometimes, we see the prices going up on books and we think to ourselves like, oh yeah, like, oh, we're doing so well, prices going up. Like I think back to like how I bought my house in 2018. And if I look at the prices of my house today, I'm just like, I'm crushing it. Like I have so much equity in this thing. I'm rich, man. I can basically buy, any book I want. But the reality is that this is all unrealized gains. Until I actually end up selling my house, until I actually end up selling my crypto or my stocks that I have equity on, I don't have anything in my bank account, right? Same principle applies to comic books, whether they're at a gain or at a loss. Until you actually sell the book, you have no value. It hasn't gone up. It hasn't gone down. There's no change. You still own the book. At the end of the day, I still have an FF52 at a 2.5 grade that Mrs. Swag is always going to make fun of me for. And I really wish I was watching that 4.0 because I would have bought that one and then sold the 2.5, and then Mrs. Swag would not be able to make fun of me anymore. But that's neither here nor there. That's also another part of the conversation. You can definitely average down. One of the things that we can protect ourselves if you're worried about the prices of books falling or the value of your comic books falling, you can always just buy another copy. I mean, actually, that's a lot of what I've been looking to do in this market right now. Is I'm always looking to purchase a lot of the books that I already own, because if I can just buy a book at a higher grade for effectively the same value, well, I'm just going to sit on the other one and wait for the right opportunity to sell that when the prices recover, or the right moment, or when the trailer comes, or whatever the case is, and then I'll sell that one, and that'll ipso facto offset the cost. But I'm kind of getting on a little bit of a tangent here. The point is, you only lose if you sell. And that's really the key takeaway with where we are in this market and what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of panic out there. There's a lot of uncertainty, but this is, again, like I've been saying in some of the other videos, this is a really good opportunity for buyers, for comic book buyers. Amazing collections will be created in this bear market, in this recession that we're in right now. And I think that there's so much opportunity to buy back in on a lot of these key and grail books. Now, again, like I've been saying, where is the bottom? Is it going to continue to go down? It might continue to go down. It might continue to go down for another year, for another 2 years. I don't really think it'll be another 2 years, but I think it could continue to go down. But it does really feel like where we are right now is, it feels like a lot of the unrealized gains that came from the 2021 boom cycle have been kind of equalized as far as like where we are. Like if we're thinking about a lot of the values, like I mentioned, like, okay, here the Hulk 181 sold at these price points. Well, if you rewind the clock, they're kind of now selling right around where they were selling at the beginning of 2021 or end of 2022, which is actually a really good time to buy, because if we're just sort of following the graph at sort of what effectively would be the rate of inflation. Now, who knows what the rate of inflation now is with everything going on, but effectively would have been at the yearly rate of inflation, we'd be kind of on this regular trajectory. So maybe we are now past that little spike up that happened in 2021. But if you're able to buy a book at around the same price as what it was going for in 2020, it feels like to me, at the end of the day, 5 years down the road, when everything is kind of leveled off and stuff, and we're past the recession, we're past the bear market, you're going to be, on the right trajectory that you should have been with the book had you bought it in, say, any other year prior to this crazy last couple of years that we've been in. But again, this is not financial advice. Don't listen to me. When I was 9 years old, I was reading ASM, the Mark Bagley run, and I decided to drop that run in order to start reading Darkhawk. So what do I know? I am a Darkhawk fan. But the point is, I think it's really interesting with what's going on right now. I'm looking at a lot of these prices. I'm seeing so many good deals out there. I'm seeing all the prices in the auction houses going down. And again, just to reiterate, I just think that it is such a good opportunity for comic book buyers. I mean, I know the temptation might be to, not buy right now. You think the prices might be continuing to go down. But if you're someone out there who has the means and you've been able to kind of save up and you're not overextending, don't leverage your credit card, don't take out a second mortgage on your house. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, so much of my comic books is like, this is like fun fake money, that I use in this hobby. So the reality is like, you don't want to overextend yourself. You don't want to exert yourself. But if you have the means, you got a little bit of cash in your pocket, you're going to be able to pick up a lot of those good deals. And then on the flip side, if you're a seller right now, I would not be selling my books. I mean, granted, do what you got to do. Everyone's circumstances are different. If you got to move some stuff in order to kind of pay for whatever bills you may have, by all means, do that. I mean, comics are comics, right? It's not very, very important. Your life is way more important than any of these books that are, behind us. But the reality is, if you're a seller and you have the ability to sit and hold your book and wait, I would definitely do that. I mean, again, not to go too far on a tangent, you could, if you want, in theory, sell some of your books. Presumably, you're thinking that the prices are going to continue to go down. You could buy back in. Maybe that might be a play if we're talking like some Copper Age or Modern Age books, if you're in that market. But if you got some Silver Age Grails, you got some Silver Age blue chips, and you're thinking you want to day trade them, I mean, yeah, by all means you can do that, but I feel like if you have the ability to just sit and hold, I would definitely do that. Anyways, that's all for this video. That was me just kind of looking at some of the market, talking to you guys, spinning around in my room on my chair. Anyways, drop me a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think is going on with these prices? What have you guys been seeing out there? Are you looking to buy in this situation? Like, comment, subscribe.